Hello everyone, and welcome to another stream. It's your friendly neighborhood streamer Yentra here on a Friday. Hope you're having a good week and ready for the weekend. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope everything's good. So today we're going to be doing kind of a continuation to the stream series that I started up last week. I've got a couple of stream series going on, and this one in particular I'm really kind of close to my heart because this is a way for me to kind of combine a lot of the things that I enjoy. One, playing this game, Star Citizen. The second is I'm actually a guide for CIG, one of the volunteer guides, and love showing people around the verse. And today we're going to be doing some rock mining, some gemstone mining. I think when I say rock, people think R-O-C-K, and I mean R-O-C. But today we're going to be doing some rock mining, and I thought it would be a good continuation to the series, which is this live guide series that I'm doing. And so the whole idea is I'm going to do something that I know how to do pretty well, and then you get an opportunity to join me and to learn, either, hopefully eventually on stream, even if you want to come join me on stream. So the two topics I'm probably going to be focused mainly on are going to be all under the big umbrella of mining. So we'll be doing some rock mining. We'll be doing some quantanium mining. I already did the first of this series, doing some quantanium mining, and I think it went pretty well. And I'll keep continuing that series as well. So just when we're trying to mix things up, so we're not always doing the exact same thing, I'll throw in one of these, and maybe we'll put it on sort of more of a regular schedule, so you know when to tune in as far as when this particular series will be running. Maybe I'll do this like every Wednesday or every Friday. We'll see. For now, I just want to get to getting. And we are right now in the space station. We are at, I believe we're at Hurl L1. Not Hurl L1. Yeah. No, we are not. Where are we on the map? Yeah, Hurl L1. I don't know why my marker wasn't showing up there. But any old space station with a refinery will do. And I've taken the elevators up here to the refinery, and I figure that's where we'll start today's session, just kind of walking through. If you're absolutely new, you're in the right spot, and maybe you'll learn something even if you're not absolutely new. So the refinery, we just head to the service area, and for gemstone mining, you really don't need to go here unless you need a vehicle. And you head in all the way back here to the equipment rentals. And I'm going to take you to the terminal. You're looking for this terminal here on the left in the back. And this is where you rent the vehicle that you need to do the kind of mining that we're going to be doing here today. You need the Greycat ROC, R-O-C. So you see why I was saying rock, right? You can also rent a prospector. That is for different type of mining. And the third rental here, the reason why they have a Cutlass Black here is because if you do Greycat rock mining, you need to transport the rock. And this is a good vehicle to do that. If you happen to have a Cutlass Black or any other vehicle that doesn't require, that can carry a rock, a Greycat rock, then you don't need to rent this. But you might want to just rent this if you don't have one, or you can buy them in game. They're fairly inexpensive, around 230,000, I believe, off the top of my head. Don't quote me on that, but you can get them and purchase them at Area 18. Again, I'll validate what I just said, because I'm now thinking it might be Lorville that you have to purchase these. But in any case, you can purchase these or rent them. If you rent them, you rent them for a day for about 4,300. Now that's a pretty good deal, because we're going to be making about 90 to 100,000 per session in about an hour or so. That's what we're going to be making. So pretty good profit margin there if you have to rent this. I've purchased 2 of these in game, so I have one. And so I don't need to rent any of these. But if you did rent, you're going to go ahead and rent the Greycat ROC. And then again, if you have a vehicle that will carry it, and you know that, great. Otherwise, a Cutlass Black or bigger ship will carry the ROC. So I happen to have a vehicle as well. So I don't need these rentals, but this is the first thing we want to know. There's 2 types, really total of 3 types of mining, but technically fall into 2 categories. The first is the hand minables, these gemstones that you can break, and then you have all the other rocks, the materials like quantanium, bexolite. There's a pretty long list. I'm not going to name them all, but mostly if you're doing hand mining, or if you're doing mining with the Greycat ROC, you're going to be mining one of these 3 gemstones. They're right here in the refinery for us to look at. So we've got aphrite, hadanite, and dolvine. And they're kind of in that order. And those are the colors that you're looking for on the rock. So in its pure gem form, this is what we bring back after doing some mining. We'll scoop up these materials as you're seeing them here. And the one straight ahead, hadanite, is the most valuable of all of these 3. These are the only 3 that you can mine with the Greycat ROC. And if you're doing any hand mining, you're also mining these 3 materials, but just in a very small rock. So there's a small little rock that you can break that has either hadanite, aphrite, or dolvine. And in that order, that's the order of value, monetary value. Hadanite is the most. Aphrite is kind of fits in the middle. And then dolvine is the least valuable. A couple of things they do explain kind of in this card here, kind of what they're used for. And this is for its vibration. It doesn't really say exactly why that makes that valuable. And this is a decorative jewel, aphrite, but that's it. It's decorative. So, like I guess diamonds are used for industry and for, jewelry. So maybe that's similar for that. And then dolvine is a industrial used material, but this is where things kind of fall a little weird, because dolvine is volatile, extremely volatile, or unstable. And when you try to break the rock that has this in it, it's really difficult, and it's the least valuable. So it's really not worth mining for those 2 reasons. These last 2, aphrite and hadanite, are worth mining. So if you find kind of like a cluster of aphrite or hadanite, definitely hadanite you're going to break, and aphrite you might decide to break as well. So we'll look up the values and everything like that as we're kind of running along. But I also wanted to show you an example of 2 of the rocks. I don't know why they don't have hadanite here, but they have aphrite and dolvine here. So dolvine's one we just said don't mine, and aphrite is worth mining. Maybe hadanite's so valuable they don't want to put a big sample of it here. I guess that's the way I'm choosing to think of it. But you can see the gemstones in the veins, if you will, of the rock. And so when you're out looking, you'll be able to visually see, oh, this is green, and you'll know not to get it because it's dolvine. But if it is this purple color, which I guess you can kind of see here more on the left side of that rock, If it's blue, purple, or pink, then blue, purple, the one we're looking at now is aphrite, and then you'll just have to kind of imagine that the pink version of that, which looks like this, will be the hadonite that you definitely want to mine. So that's what we're mining and what we're mining with. Now, if you're in the refinery, all this other stuff is relating to the other type of mining that I talked about. So you don't really need to worry about gadgets, which those are gadgets for your proper mining. And you also don't need to worry about any modules. You see those laser modules up here. You don't need to worry about those. You can't really modify the laser arm of the Greycat ROC. It is what it is. You can't upgrade it. It's all of them are the same, which makes mining pretty simple. So I always recommend to people, who are interested in getting into mining at all, to start with rock mining, ROC mining, and gemstones. Get the gemstones, get that kind of all, get used to that, and then graduate to the quantanium mining or any other of the other type of mining materials that you might want to be after. And then you can start playing around with gadgets and modules and start to learn those things as you get used to mining in general. So that's kind of the whole way I typically would recommend doing it. So let's look at some of the gear here. Really, ultimately, there's only really one thing you either do need or do not need, and that's a suit in front of us. Typically, this particular suit is the I'm hitting on the wrong thing there. I don't know why it's focusing on that. This is the Pembroke suit, and it's the hot suit. It allows you to be in extremely warm temperatures. It comes with its own backpack, which is, you can see that. And the helmet, for some reason, they don't have on display. I don't know why they have everything but the helmet, but I'll go show you the helmet. If you need to pick up one of these, it's handy to have this suit, but it's not required depending on where you go. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second. So let's leave this here. Actually, it doesn't really matter because I'm just going to show you. Let's look at the armor. And here's this helmet right here that goes along with that suit. So if you're looking at what the cost of all of this is going to be, a little over $5,000 for the suit. I would recommend getting the backpack. It's 2,180 credits. And then you're going to need the undersuit. There's only 3 things that you need for that suit. And that undersuit is where it's a little pricey. That's 10,330. But if you add all that up, the 3,000, the roughly 7,000 that you have for rentals, or more, depending on if you need the ship or not, and 10,000 here for the suit, plus the 5,000. That's 15,000, 18,000, 19,000. Somewhere, you're probably in the 20,000 total range. Just doing quick calculations there, but you're going to make about 90,000 on your first run. So if you're renting everything and you have to buy the suit, this suit is going to take a bit of the profit out of your profit margin, which is fine, but you don't need this suit. So let's talk about when you would and why would you go through the trouble of buying this suit. And for that, we're going to bring up the star map. And there's a couple of known places where mining is the best for rock mining. And they are going to be in the Hurston system. And in order of what we typically will say is the best, you will find Aberdeen, which is supposed to be the best. I'm running a series right now where I'm actually, boring this out to see if it really is the best. And so far, it is the best. In the first run, it is proving to be the best place to mine Hadnite, and Hadnite being the only thing I'm mining on there. And then Aberdeen is supposed to be the first. And then for number 2, it's kind of a toss-up right now, and I'm not entirely sure which one will win. But it's either going to be Ariel, which is also here, because it's another hot moon, or it's going to be Daymar, and Daymar is all the way over here. And so I would say those are probably going to be close to being tied with one another as far as what the best place. So Daymar or Ariel will be number 2, and then number 3 will be all the way back here in the Hurston system, and that's Magda. The other ones, Ida, and there's another moon, Walla. There's a bunch of other moons. Those all kind of fall off pretty quickly as being a place that's okay to mine, but not the best. Not the best. So Aberdeen, right now, definitive winner. We're gonna bore this out because I'm actually mining on Aberdeen and Ariel in my new series, where we are putting this to the test. We're actually going to use numbers to answer the question, where's the best place to mine? So it might be that we find out that Aberdeen is not the best, but right now it's looking like it's going to be the best. But I'm interested to see where Ariel lies in relation to Daymar. But all of that is to say that the next thing that you want to focus on is, well, do I need to spend the money? That you just said I need to spend the money on this suit. Well, where do I get the suit? Is at the refinery. I just showed you that. How much does it cost? We've already answered that question. Well, where do I need to use that suit? You need to use it on Aberdeen and Ariel. Aberdeen for sure. Ariel, yeah, also. Magda, you do not. Any of the other moons, you pretty much do not need to use that hot suit. You can bring a standard armor for Magda, and you can bring a standard armor set for Daymar. Don't go in your hospital gown. Don't do that. But definitely any average old armor set will work just fine, and you'll be fine. That's why people like mining on Daymar, because you don't need the suit. But you do have to travel. You do have to travel all the way over there if this isn't your home area. If you're not kind of hanging out in this area of the verse all the time, then you're traveling all the way to Daymar. That's why I really favor this system, the Hurston system, because not only does it have like the self-declared, best place to mine Hadnite, Aberdeen, Ariel is a very good second one. And Magda is pretty good too. It's not better than Daymar, but you have these 3 moons all in one system, all one hop away. So if you're striking out at Magda, hop over to Aberdeen and, check out Ariel. Or, if you don't want the hot suit, check out Magda. So you can really do a lot of great mining here. If you're in this area, you can, sort of live off this system. And, if all else fails and you feel like traveling, yeah, head to Daymar. And you don't have to worry about bringing a hot suit. Today, I'm going to be, because I'm mining right now and doing this series where I'm doing Aberdeen versus Ariel, I'm thinking I'm either going to jump on, I'm going to jump on one of those 2 moons, and we won't count that as part of like the competition that I'm doing. I'm just going to kind of show you the best place to mine. And since that's what this is all about, we're going to head to Aberdeen and we'll do some mining there. Now, there's a couple of other things to mention. If you're just starting out, you may choose not to get the suit. And if you don't get the suit, or if you do get the suit, I'll leave that up to you. Just remember that you probably would go to another place. Like I said, you'd probably end up going to Magda. That's where I would say you should go, either to Magda if you're in this system, or Daymar if you're in the Crusader system. So this is where, not having the suit or having the suit. Oh, crash. Okay. Well, we will see you in just a second. Let me just get a restart in here, folks, and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and that happens. The last 3 streams that I've done, I've hit a 30K right away, And that's okay. Good time for that, really, honestly, for us, given where we just were. Because we're just talking about where to go. And we were in the station, and we weren't in a ship or anything. So I'm going to skip the refinery. You can find the refinery on any of the space stations, the Crew L1, Arc L1, excuse me, where I am Crew L1, just in the elevators. And as I said, all the refineries are the same. And if you're rock mining, you really only need to go up there if you're gemstone mining. I think I'm just going to start calling it gemstone mining because rock mining, again, is confusing. But if you're gemstone mining, you don't need to go to the refinery unless you want to rent a rock. Now, when you rent a rock, if you're new, you won't see that in your ASOP terminal here. So when you go up, don't panic. Your rental went through. You have to spawn those at the mining stations, and we'll go do that because I happen to have a rock already, as I mentioned. But you'll see my rock does not appear here. Be under Greycat ROC, and none of those are here. So if you rented the Cutlass Black, that will show up here. Or if you had your own ship to take you, that's cool too. So you just need to make sure that you have a ship that will transport a rock. And I'm going to go ahead and use the Nomad today. It is kind of my favorite rock mining ship at the moment. It fits a rock and a rock DS, and it's small and nimble, and it's kind of one of the, certainly maybe more on the upper tier of the starter packs. So it's accessible, affordable, and if you want to graduate from that, the Cutlass Black is a little, kind of more of a multi-purpose ship, and it's better for doing other things too. And this does other things as well, but you can see in the back, kind of like the pickup truck of Star Citizen, you can't access the cargo area, and you're kind of just out in the middle. That cargo is... Oh, here we go. I'm going to let them talk.
And would like to strongly encourage all those traveling through the sector to use extra caution. While we have no specifics to share at this time, rest assured that we are diligently working to stop any such threat before it occurs. Thank you for your time.
So the Ninetales blockade is going on. It's kind of like our heads-up warning. So I'm going to jump in the ship. As I was saying, it's kind of like the pickup truck because, you can't... All your cargo is kind of exposed out to the elements, etc. But it's a nice little small ship, and I've been mining in this ship in that series that I've been doing. And I'm going to go ahead and grab some stuff. In fact, I probably don't need most of this stuff in case something, tragic happens. But I'm going to grab the helmet and the undersuit and the backpack. I got a little bit of an error here. I got a duplicate. I purchased one of these suits and now I have two. I don't know how that happened, but I'll take it. And then I'm going to throw some food and water in here too, because I'm definitely going to need that. Always kind of keep track. We're going to land on a mining station, so I'm going to probably end up doing a little looting. So yeah, let's head out.
Welcome. Your journey begins now. All systems operational.
So I think mining can be a little intimidating for people. There's a lot to know and learn, but with gemstone mining, it does really simplify things. It really is just, hey, here's the
Fuel 100%.
here's the only ship you can or vehicle you can use, which is of course a Greycat ROC, and you know that's it. You can't swap anything out for the most part. You can upgrade the Greycat, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. You can upgrade the cooler, and you can also upgrade the power plant. And there are 2 power plants and 1 cooler, and all 3 of those are size 0, and you can get them all at New Babbage. And it is worth upgrading. I've upgraded the rock that we're going to be using today. Makes it a little bit more reliable, especially when you're out in the high temperatures of Aberdeen or some other place. You'll find that it is your rock is a little bit more reliable. So we're going to take off here, and
Landing gear retracted.
I want to go to Aberdeen. And as I said, as soon as you get that Pembroke suit on, you know, everything's fine after that. You don't have to worry about how hot it is at Aberdeen.
And please visit again.
I don't think I can plot. Yeah, I'm just, I run into this all the time where I cannot plot a course anywhere. I have to get away from the space station. And then plot my course. Still will not take me to Hurston. Okay, well I can go to Hurston. Let's see if that, oh, go that marker stayed. And even though I didn't request a landing gear, landing pad, I got one. Once we get going, yeah, cool. So, like I said, we're going to head to Aberdeen, and we'll stop off at a mining station and pick up the rock and put it in the back of our ship.
Quantum travel complete. Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel complete. Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel complete.
Okay, there's only a couple of spots for us to go to on Aberdeen, so let's just pick a good one. There we go. Just pick this mining station here. HTMS Anderson.
Quantum travel engaged.
So we're talking about prices, and just wanted to call those up to tell you. So like the most valuable material that people will say mine, that you can mine, you know, you want to make a lot of money, they'll tell you it's quantanium. And of course, that's something you mine with a prospector or a mole. And we can't mine that with the Greycat ROC. The price of quantanium is 44 alpha UECs per unit of quantanium. 44. That's refined quantanium. For hadanite, which is what we're going to be mining in part 2 today, it goes for 275 per unit. Now, before you get too excited, you need a lot of hadanite to make up a single unit. So, where with quantanium, you're just bringing in much more of that material. So that's why the prices all seem to be kind of, you know, it's in other words, it's true when someone tells you that if you want to get rich fast, make sure you mine quantanium, because that you can bring in so much more quantanium than you can hadanite. It would take us quite a bit of time to get the same amount. But the good news is, because the value is so high, you know, it's 270,000 or so to fill up a Greycat ROC. And from an hour by hour standpoint, you can make about 270 in about 30 minutes with a prospector. That is dependent on how quickly you can find the quantanium. So we're going to be doing a lot more mining in the Greycat ROC. When you're mining gemstones, you're going to be doing a lot more mining, less scouting, and you're going to need a lot more mining to get to those values that you can get with a prospector. So don't expect this to be a get rich quick way of making money. It's in the middle. It's like right where it should be. Okay, so I need to grab maybe some food and drink. I saw that there was a Cutlass Black here. And you'll see I have 12 minutes of survival time. Oh, that looks like a accident gone wrong. That's not a Cutlass Black. It's a mole. Oh wait. It's just upside down. Okay. I was confused by its shape, because I'm like, that kind of looks like a Cutlass Black or a mole. Like, oh, now it's right side up. Okay. I think that's just desync error or something. Interesting. Yeah, because when I came down, when I was landing, I'm like, that's a Cutlass Black. And then when it was upside down, it had the lookings of a Argo mole, which is weird that my mind got fooled like that. So double win here if we can get some food and drink, because I'm going to be running low before we get too far. So that's a good tip. Just mention that unlike what I just did, you probably do want to bring a lot more food and water. Water in particular, because when you're on a hot planet like Aberdeen, or Moon rather, you're going to need more water. You will dehydrate faster. When you wear the suit, it does help you, but it's better to
Welcome
be
to
prepared.
the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Okay, so now we should see if you did rent. That's kind of a long way to go, I know, before you realize if your rent went through. But now you should be able to see the Greycat ROC, ROC. And I'm going to take this other one out here.
Your insurance claim has been sent.
And it only takes a few seconds. I mean, feel free to expedite it if you want, but that's also kind of cutting into your profits.
Vehicle selected. Stand by. Your vehicle has been delivered to the following location.
So you'll spawn your rock there, and it'll be out on one of these pads. And there it is. There's your Greycat ROC. Now, it does not offer environmentally protected, or protection rather. So you're exposed to the elements. You see that I have 11 minutes 40 seconds worth of survival time here, and when I go into the rock, it's not gonna change that. You boot up the rock just like you do your ship. Make it flight ready. My key binding is R. That's the default. And we'll show you around the controls here once I get into a hot suit, because right now, well, actually I do have some time, so maybe we'll do that. You'll saw that there's kind of a shield, that glass pane that kind of covered went in front of you, that protects you from anything that happens while you're mining a little bit, to a certain degree. Some of the rocks will kind of fly violently, and they may come at you, but they won't hit you because you're protected there. You got the 4 MFDs. The main one you're really interested in is this one here, which is the power. You don't have shields, but you do have the Templo, which is going to be your cooler. No, I'm sorry. That's going to be your... Yes. And then you have you have 2 power plants, and they power, and the way that the power is showing here is by what it's being used for. So you're not actually seeing your power plant here. But the drivetrain and the mining laser and the mining arm are all kind of run by the power unit. So it doesn't really matter what you have here for settings. This power triangle doesn't really do you anything or do you any good. You can see your system here, just like your system items, basically a repeat of what I just did up there, where you can overclocking the mining laser doesn't do anything right now. I'm assuming that will have some kind of functionality in the future. That's the same with the prospector and the mole too. You do have a scanner and a target, and then your communications MFD. So no other things to really turn on and off. We're gonna go into third person. That's my first tip when driving this thing, is try not to drive in first person if you can. Go into third, because it's a little easier. And then you're going to want to avoid those. You're going to want to turn before you accelerate. And accelerate, if you're on keyboard, it's kind of a tap, or else you'll get going pretty fast pretty quickly, and you'll spin out of control, which is fine. But if you want to be in control, you're going to want to, like here, I'm going to turn, and then I'm going to accelerate, and then I'll be able to get the most out of my turn. I'm going to, you can move the camera just actually by default. So you're kind of automatically in default, like free look mode. I'm going to line this up, and then I'm going to deploy that. And we'll go over more of the, how this Greycat gets used here in a bit. I'm I'm almost dying here. I've got 7 minutes, so I want to get this. So we'll go over that when we have more time. But if you've driven any land vehicle, you'll probably already know, how to handle. There's not much to this vehicle either. You just kind of get in. There's no external, well, I shouldn't say that. There is external storage, which is where the gemstones get stored. And we'll cover all of that once I back this thing up. With the Nomad, I have to back this up into the ship. And you might find one with your ship, like if you're using the Cuddy Black, you probably don't have to back that up, or you definitely don't. You can just drive it straight in. So you get a little bit of an advantage, but power down just with the same key command, U, hold the U key down, or whatever your default is for turning off your ship. It's exactly the same. And I believe you can customize that. I'm going to get out of the elements here and put on the hot suit. And I'm also going to grab that water that I picked up and catch myself a drink real quick. This is a good time for you to take a drink too. Just going to grab everything.
Attention, Crusader. This is Director Rust with an important update regarding possible hostile activities in the sector. We have received credible reports that outlaws may once again be planning a show of force. Crusader security is doing everything in our power to ensure the safe travel through the area. I will keep you posted if there are any new updates. Thank you.
And we might as well get into our suit. Now, I think a faster way to do that is if you can just put this undersuit on directly. Everything else gets put back in storage. But that's it. There's the suit. And if I go out now, I'll have more time to survive. You can survive indefinitely for the most part. I think a timer goes up and it says like it's an hour.
Engine systems enabled.
Okay, so now we have the rock and it is loaded up in our ship and we're ready to mine. Now we are at a spawn point, and so that's, we're at the mining station. That's not a good place for you to rock mine or to mine at all. You're very much susceptible to getting griefed, and
Retracted.
it's a real simple thing to avoid. All you have to do is fly away or go some other place and land. We're in the sun, which is where I want to be. So pay attention to your compass. We're kind of heading southwest here. And I might just head. Yeah, so I sort of pick a cardinal direction, either southwest or west or northwest. And then I just kind of head in that direction. So I'm going to do that. And then we'll start mining here shortly. But I'm going to fly away first. Now, there's a diamond icon that appeared just below there. And we don't want to go mining too close. So we're going to kind of fly away. We scan by hitting tab. and these boxes will pop up. We're going to want to focus on what's in front of us, so I'm going to turn down the angle of my scanner, and you'll see I'm at 179, and I can go to 90, 45, all the way up to, I'm going to go back up to 179. That's where I'm going to leave it. To adjust that angle, it is the period and the apostrophe keys. Those are the defaults. I've remapped them to my mouse keys here. And then you're going to ping, and that means you're going to ping to the left and right in front of you. So we're not worried about what's behind us. And so now I'm going to wait for those boxes to disappear. And of course, we're right in the mountains, which I really don't want to be. Oh, there we go. Looks like the mountains kind of clear up here. So I'm looking at the compass and heading in one direction. And now I'm going to start mining. When a box shows up, if it's under 5,000, I'm interested in it. That's if it's a new box. Obviously, as you get closer to the boxes, they will stay, or they will eventually get down to that value. But this one was under 5,000. It popped up under 5,000. So now I'm going to approach it, and I'm going to keep scanning. And if it gets under 1,000 and it's still a box, then it turns into those stars, then these are going to be gemstones. Now you can keep pinging if you want, but I already know these are gemstones. Also, you can tell by the grouping is really, really tight. But the last confirmation is that you'll see the diamond icon. So these are the gemstones. If it looks like a rock, which we'll see some other ones I'll show you, you don't want to mine those. You can't mine those. So now I'm going to get my ship hovered over them, and I'm going to bring down my throttle, and I'm going to hit V for Victor and go into scanning mode. And now I'm moving closer on, say, one of these rocks. It doesn't matter which one. And on the left, I'm looking just on the left. You'll see that there's a white scanner, and there's noise at the top, and it says I have 89%. That means I've got a clear signal. And I hold the left mouse button down, and I scan it. Now you may be used to scanning because you may be scanning, ships or other people. And on the left, I will see the mass, which is 0.84. That's what we're looking for, is 0.84. You'll remember that number. Optimal and overcharge, you don't need to worry about those numbers. Power transfer resistance and instability, you really don't need to worry about those numbers either. The only number you're interested in on the left is the mass. Because if it's 0.1 or 0.01, that's smaller than 0.84, and it's probably a hand mineable. And if it's, 8,000, well, it's not going to be a gemstone anyway at 8,000 mass. So this is 0.84, so that's what we're interested in. On the right, you'll see what the mineable commodities are. And with gemstones, you're only going to see two numbers, or really one number, which is what it is. What is the mineable material? In this case, it's hadnite. And that's what we want to mine. Hadnite is the best one. And it says that it's 83% hadnite. Doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter what the percentage of hadnite is. But it will tell you, like I'll scan another one, because we're going to mine it no matter what. You see the mass is 0.84, same mass, and this is 74% hadnite. With gemstone mining, you're not going to have a mix of materials. We're not going to see hadnite and aphrite. We're going to see just one commodity that we're interested in, and then everything else is going to be inert. So that is how we handle or how we look for the rocks that we're after, the material that we're after. So we're going to mine this. So I'm going to get out of mining scanning mode. I'm going to put my landing gear down and find a spot to land.
Landing gear engaged.
It looked like a better spot from the cockpit than it is. Let's see here. Now, when you land your ship, this is not really a ship landing guide. You know what to do, but will the rock be able to get up there? No. It can kind of cover a gap, so you don't have to. It doesn't have your tailgate doesn't have to be touching the ground. And if you're using a ship that has like a elevator, this is, not necessary either. But if you have a tailgate, which most ships, like the Cuddy does, just be aware that the rock can get over a gap, but not too big of a gap. I'll kind of point out. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to landing, but that's good enough. So I'm in my hot suit. And now we're going to spend a little bit more time going over the vehicle. I kind of did a quick pass there. And we really didn't need to, because I'm going to go over everything in detail. Let's bring this out here, and then we'll start with a quick look at what this thing has. It's a one-seater, as you obviously can tell. That is the mining laser, and once we go into mining mode, you'll see that extend. And there's not much else to really point out except that the gemstones that get scooped up, when we see those, they'll end up in this cargo area. And it is kind of like an external area. Alright guys, I'm going to need just 1 minute here. I've got, been having this audio issue and it is popping up, and this is a good time for me to take a quick pause. And give me just 1 second while I sort this issue out, which kind of pops up every once in a while on stream. I apologize. It seems like I can't get this fixed, but I'm going to need just a minute to get this clicking noise out of my out of my headset right now. I'll be right back. that happens and has been happening, and I've been diagnosing the issue, but creeps back up every once in a while, and I'm gonna nip it in the bud as soon as it happens. So usually once I reconnect everything, my audio's just fine. So thank you for that. Appreciate the 2 interruptions we've had. So I was just going over the rock, and this is kind of the external storage. This is where, when we actually do our mining, it will end up in that compartment. Pretty straightforward vehicle. Great to drive. It does turn pretty quickly but you do have to get your sort of turning in before you accelerate. It does have a scanner. I can see the rocks that we're going to break here. We went over the MFDs. The one that I like to change to is here. I like to look at the items because as the rock starts to be used, these numbers will change. The health of these items will go down because the rock runs like it's a battery-powered device, vehicle. And so if you start to see these numbers dramatically decline, you'll want to be careful, because that means that you're about ready to, sort of break down. Below, you can see your EM signature and your heat that you're kind of using. Now, as I start to use items, like if I scan, if I can do a ping here as well, your EM signature will go up. And I believe if you're in mining mode, your EM signature will go up as well. So let's drive to these rocks, and I'll show you how to mine. And there's that big cluster of rocks. Wow, what a great start. So to go into, first thing I'm going to point out is notice that those pink coloring of that rock. If you get used to what that looks like, you can visually spot it, while you're in your ship. You don't have to even land, or maybe not even scan. So that is hadnite, and just like I showed you back in the refinery, it's pink, a pinkish color. To go into mining mode, you hit M.
Fracturing mode on.
You have 2 modes. We're in, as the nice assistant's voice told us, we're in mining mode. We're in fracturing mode. That means right now, if I turn the laser on, it's going to try to start breaking that rock. I'll just go over here. And once I'm done breaking a rock, I can go into the other mode, which is extraction mode.
Extraction mode on.
That's a right click on the mouse button, and then a left click to use. And you only need to really use, press it down once. You don't have to actually hold the mouse button down. You can just press it once to turn it on, and press it a second time to turn it off. And so extraction mode is harmless. Like, you can hit people with it and everything.
Fracturing mode on.
But I believe this fracturing mode laser will cause some harm. So we're going to break a rock. Now, I'm going to show you kind of try to keep the UI display where you can see it. Now, if you look way up in the upper left corner, it's kind of hard to see. See if I can find it better. Yeah. In the very upper left corner, you'll see it gives me the mining laser that I'm using and the current range to target, which you'll see is changing as I move the mining laser. You can see that one's 3.6 meters from me, and that one's a little bit further away. And then you see this effective range. Now, I've never seen anything but optimal. I mean, I'll try going away. It still says optimal. I would suspect that that's kind of bugged out, and that eventually you'll get what you see in like the prospector and the mole. When you mine, it'll tell you that you're sufficient distance, or you're optimal, or you're way away from the rock and you're out of range. But for this, just get close enough that you can see what you're doing, and you should be fine. So just for the record, I'm 3.8 meters away from that rock that I'm going to break. And then on the left, you'll see just below that, you'll see the cargo, and you'll see that fill up as we actually start scooping up what we break. On the right, that's the scan of this particular rock. It tells us how much hadnite is, or that this is a hadnite rock, and that the mass is 0.84. As I said, that's kind of what you'll see all the time, is around 0.84. And then you can see the resistance, which again is kind of an insignificant number because you can't do anything. You can really only use this one mining laser, so it's not like you can change anything up. And then you'll see the composition, which is 54% hadnite, and the rest is inert. And again, that's going to be the way you're always going to see it. A little pro tip here is you can see that there's as I'm on this rock, you'll see that there's kind of bad timing here. I'm just going to turn them down. So you'll see over here that there is on the right side, let's just kind of focus on the center part here. As I bring the power of my mining laser up using my mouse wheel, you see that's going up to 50%, 69%, 100%, and I bring it back down. Now the laser's off, so it doesn't really matter right now, but that's how I control the power of the laser. Now on the opposing side, on that arc, that's going to represent how much energy is in the rock, and it's going to get to that optimal green zone, and we want to keep it in there. And while it's in there, it's going to fill up that green. And if we overcharge it, it'll go into the red up on top of that green zone, and it too will fill up. And if it fills up, then that's when the rock goes boom. Now in rock mining and gemstone mining, you can do that. You can overcharge a rock and it's not going to blow up and destroy you unless it's completely in the red. More likely it's just going to blow up and then the gems are going to go scattering everywhere. So that's the theory of this. So you want to position the rock to be somewhere where you can see what you're doing. I almost always mine to the left because that way the mining laser kind of blocks whatever's going on around it, and I can see how I'm breaking. So I'm going to turn the volume back up because we're going to want to hear that. Okay, so now I'm ready to break. I'm in mining mode, and I'm going to turn on the laser just by hitting the mouse button, left mouse button. And you can see the charge level on the right is still going to remain the same. I'm going to bring it all the way up to 100%. Because these rocks are all roughly the same, this is going to be just about the same. You can see my charge levels going up pretty fast. So I'm going to start bringing it down and watch. Now, of course, it's not going to go up fast because I'm putting less power in there. I don't remember leaving the Greycat ROC, but... And so I could sit here and wait for this and watch I'm at 50%. And anything under 50%, it's going to keep dropping. It's slowly dropping. If I take it down to 0, of course, that's going to drop. I can also take the laser just completely off. I don't really do that unless it's kind of an emergency, or I've got a quick move to do. I tend to keep it there because as soon as you pull the laser away, you lose the reading of where it is. You see the charge level sometimes will go away. So start out by going to about 100%. We're going to get into the green zone, and when we get into the green zone, the properties of this rock are going to change. It's going to be easier to pump energy into it. So I'm going to immediately have to cut my power by about half. So now I'm bringing it way down to 50% or below. And look at that green fill up. And it's kind of at the top of the green zone. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. I want to keep it in about the middle. And now it's dropping. And I got to catch it. You're going to find that it's a delay reaction. You're going to pump up the power of your laser, and then you're going to wait. You're going to see a reaction to that happen about a second later. So you're kind of casting ahead. So now I'm going to scoop these up. These all represent little gemstones that we can pick up. So I'm going to go into extraction mode. Turn the laser on with the left mouse button and scoop them up. You're going to use your crosshairs to guide you. And you're just going to bring it close enough, and you see how wide of a radius it'll scoop things up. Don't need to go swimming around like that. That's bad. What will happen is go nice and easy. Take your time and let it sit in a location, because if you start moving the laser around, you're going to be in the middle of scooping up a gem, and you're going to move the laser and it's going to throw it away. That's about all I want to get from here. And see, there's one way over here. And I picked that up. That was actually because I moved the laser as I was scooping. You can't avoid that. So, you're going to find that no matter how well you do, some of these gems are going to just break and fly all over the place. So I'm going to do one more, and then we're going to go silent, and I'll break the rest of these. So I'm going to switch to mining mode. Now I'm kind of in a position where I have to be a little close to this rock, and I can't see all of my UI up there. But in fact, I probably, for this purpose, I will show you. Let's break this one back here for that. Because of the environment that you're going to be breaking, you're not always going to have the best view of the HUD. So you're just going to have to get used to seeing, like I was seeing, just a partial bit of that. Same technique. Now notice we scooped up on the left there. We scooped up 3 CSUs. Again, I'm going to get to the green here, and then I'm going to pull down the power really quickly. That's an overcharge. I'm going to bring it all the way down to 0. And it's okay. Now I'm going to try to save it by bringing it back up to about 50. Because as I lose power, that progress bar goes away when I'm not in the green zone. So that progress bar starts to deplete when I'm not in the green zone. Okay, so this is typically like more realistic way of what you might get to look at. I'm going to scoop these up. Right mouse click and then left mouse click. And again, this time just sort of keeping the laser. It takes about a half a second or so for it to register that it's going to pick up the gem. See that? So just be patient. And just scoop what you can. And again, there's some gems back here. I'm just not going to pick those up. So that's the gist of it. Now I want to want you to sort of watch for yourself as I go through and break up the rest of these rocks. And we'll play a little music while I do that. And you'll get used to not seeing where your mining laser is, where the power level is. I knew I was at 100%. You'll get used to that, and you won't always get the benefit of seeing that, so because you can't always move the rock far enough away from where you're the rock that you're breaking. So just keep it there. And I also like to break maybe two rocks at a time. So I'll just go right into breaking that next rock before I scoop. I'm going to break 3 rocks this time. It's a big cluster here, so you don't want to be switching back and forth. I do like to rest the mining laser a little bit. I've been told it is to sort of cool it off, because while it's going, it is heating up, and your heat signature will go up. And really just as soon as I get in the green, I'm going down to below 50% right away as quickly as I can, and then bring it back up and bring it back down somewhere in that 40-50% range, and that's what you want. And we have some scooping to do. Don't wait too long to scoop. I know there's some people who actually will break everything. I like to give the mining laser a little bit of a rest, but I also like to make sure that we don't see any despawn. These things are infamous for just despawning, and that's money gone away if you put too many of these things out there for Star Citizen to despawn on you. So just scoop them up, and then you've got them. Doesn't matter if you go left to right, back to front, or front to back. Just kind of pick a pattern that works for you. And don't be afraid, don't worry about those one-offs that kind of fly all over the place. And you're more than likely going to see a diamond in the sky, because that's just something that happens. It just happens. These things... There'll be a diamond up just floating in the sky, or sometimes you'll see one that's back at your ship for some reason, and it just sits there. So you can't get those, and you may not want to, sort of hunt all those down or track all those down. I'm going to get a little closer, and I'm going to break these last 4. See, I had a little bit of an overcharge there, but it didn't scatter the rocks. Let's break this next one. And with the green zone, you can kind of think of it as a wall. As soon as I drop below the green zone, I need about twice the power to get back up in there. And then I need to back that power off because it has like kind of a double X effect once it's in the green zone. So as soon as you see that you're out of the green zone, you got to kind of pump it up. Now there's some overcharge there. I'm backing it way off. It's going to break. And you'll see they scattered a little bit, but not nearly as far as they would if it was a full-on overcharge. Now those are so far away I can't get them, so I'm going to focus on scooping up the ones that I can and either consider those ones lost or go track them down after I've broken everything else. And you can see those were just a little bit out of range, so I had to move forward. You'll see the sort of the sparks at the end of the mining, at the end of the laser when it's out of range. You see they're there, that's in range, and then it just kind of drifts off to nothing. So all of those are going to be way out of range. So I'm going to leave those. And I'm going to break these two. Well, I might as well scoop this one up. Easy, easy. Now, some of these will drift, you'll see, because we're actually kind of on a hill, a slope. And when you mine, you want to pay attention to where you're mining, because if you're on a hill, that's going to happen. And sometimes that's okay. You can just let everything collect at the bottom of the hill and then go scoop them all up. But if you take your time, you'll see that these things kind of stick around because you didn't overcharge. So we're filling up at 22, 23 out of 80. That's the capacity of the cargo of this.
Crusader guests and residents, I have an important security update. We have once again received word that outlaw elements are plotting to move against a station in our sector. It is my belief that security forces will be able to deal with this threat with urgency. It's urgent that you take extra caution.
So we'll scoop what we can. And then I like to, you know, maybe we will drive up there and grab some of those ones, because they all seem to be kind of in the same spot. There's enough to kind of go forward and find them and scoop them up. Just down here, that's fine. And this is really kind of a judgment call. Like if you're trying to scoop absolutely everything up, you might go track all these down. I tend to scoop what I can. I don't mind leaving a few of these things lying around because I'm usually trying to maximize profit, if you will. And if that's the mode I'm in, then I will just grab what I can and not waste my time, because you can drive quite a bit of distance. These things can get pretty far away, especially if you overcharge. If you overcharge, it's almost, you know, I'm not going to tell you don't go hunting everything down, but you know, with about 5 to 10 minutes of scouting time, you could find another rock to mine, then spend the extra 12 minutes to go hunt everything down. But is that on the other side? Yeah, it is. That's a good example of where I just might say, okay, you can stay there. And just the crosshairs, that's where the laser is going to focus. So you just need those crosshairs to be near that gemstone. There you go. Sometimes I'll scoop back. I'll just do a quick turn like that and see that diamond icon, and then I can go grab it as soon as it sticks to a place in space. You'll get the hang of that. You'll have plenty of practice. And that's really it. We have broken our first cluster. I'm going to get out of mining mode. Go back into third person, and the ship, I believe, is behind me. So we'll turn around and head back up over here. I think it's over this ridge. And again, with the Nomad, I gotta turn around. So we'll do another turn. And there you go. Very relaxing thing to do in Star Citizen, by the way. This is just one of the more peaceful things you can do. I know PvP is great, PvE is awesome, all that stuff. That's great. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. But it is a very, very easygoing activity, and it's good to have those. You don't always need to do the missions. I don't always need to do the missions, and do the other activities, the more exciting activities. Sometimes it's just about relaxing and going out and doing some mining. And we did a pretty good first run there. That was a nice little cluster. Not in really any hurry here, but we're just about into an hour and a half. Now, we were mining for far less than that because we had that 30K. And I had the whole intro. But now you're ready to go look for your next cluster. This is where it's important to remember where your compass heading was, because I was heading west, and that's northeast. So I flew in a direction that I kind of had to land. And so knowing where you came from is good because, and of course if you use the sun, that's a really handy way to spot that in the sky always, because you're going to want to head back in the same direction that you were going before. You want to fly in the same direction so you don't head back to the direction you were before. And again, there's another candidate there. It's still a box, and it's 900, and looks like there's a nice little cluster there. 2 clusters, perhaps? Is that what I'm looking at? No. So we'll go into scanning mode and we'll check this one out. Mass is 0.84. And this is Hadenite. So we're going to mine this. My landing gear, I didn't even put my landing gear up. Now, I've heard a lot of people saying about clusters, and boy, I can't get more than 3 or 4 rocks. This is the second cluster we found in just a few minutes. And this has kind of been my experience with Aberdeen lately. It does deserve its recognition that it does spawn a lot of Hadenite. And even for this, I was prepared to mine. I was prepared to mine Aphrite or not Dolvine. I don't ever mine that, but I was going to mine whatever we got of Aphrite or Hadenite. But we're getting so much Hadenite that this is great. So you should know the routine by now. We go into mining mode.
Extraction mode on.
I was still in extraction mode from before. So I'm going to switch by hitting right mouse button and then go into fraction mode and turn on the laser. Get it up to 100%. This is the part where just practice will do it. You're going to need some practice. Try to make it so that you can see as much as you can. Specifically the optimal and overcharge, you want to make sure you can see those boxes pretty well. Don't let the light of the laser get in your way. And there's a little bit of a delay here. When I do the power adjustments, there's delay. There's also a little server delay, desync, that happens from time to time. So you have to play against that as well. All right, I'm going to break probably a couple of rocks in a row. Start scooping this up. Thanks for watching. bad. Not bad at all. Now, the rock does come with a light. Notice that we're kind of in the dark here. Which can be kind of handy. And it might get in your way when you're in third-person mode, but it's not too bad. You get used to backing up to really quickly. Start to learn how to back up into a vehicle. But again, if you're driving a Cuddy Black or just about anything else, you don't need to back up. If I drove in, I wouldn't be able to get in or out in the Nomad. You'll notice with the suit, it's just kind of locked in at an hour and 9 minutes, or almost an hour and 10 minutes. It never goes down from that amount, so you have plenty of time when you're wearing the suit. And that's what I would recommend if you're new and you want to like see, you know, have the experience of doing a lot of mining. You know, pick up that suit so you're not in a rush. Otherwise, you only have about 10 minutes to break those rocks. And you'll come across a big cluster like I just did, and you'll have to go back in your ship and cool off if you don't have the suit. Which is no fun. It's dark time, nighttime. And I would normally head to the sun side now, but I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up here for the evening. Good first lesson in what you need to know to mine the gemstones, I hope. A lot of fun doing it. I'm going to continue to do this series. There's a Ninetales event going on right now. A lot of people are doing that, and I enjoy doing those type of things as well. So I might do one of those on stream. But for now, I wanted to kind of just show a little bit of what I know could help you get into rock mining. So we'll continue to do this series. We'll do some more Quantanium mining and some more rock mining, and, you know, have the opportunity to really show what you need to know to get into this. And I know a lot of people are intimidated by rock mining, and there's really no reason to be. It is a easy thing to get into with just a little bit of knowledge. And we're going to head back to a mining station somewhere here on Aberdeen. That's where we actually started. So that little cemetery there. But let's see if actually I'm going to see if I can find some place. There's the prison. Is that the only mining station we have on Aberdeen? It might be. It's Comray. Yeah, I guess we do have Norgrad. Yeah, let's go here. Norgard. And we'll sell our goods. Now, you can keep mining until you fill up the rock. I tend to not do that because of the aforementioned instability and unreliability of the rock. It tends to break down. And when it breaks down, you have all that cargo that you have to transfer. And right now, you have to do those one at a time. I do have voice attacks set up, which is another thing. Maybe I'll do a session on that. And that's a quick way to mass transfer. You have to, it sort of is a script that you run, a little macro that you run that will move all your inventory over very quickly. And it's the perfect tool for when you're mining, because if something happens, you can transfer. And that really is what I typically do, is I will transfer everything to my vehicle and then go out and mine. And every time I mine, I transfer to the vehicle. So I very rarely know how full the rock is, because usually I'm not filling it up at all. Now to sell, you just can go to any mining station that you want. You can also sell from the space station admin office. Both those will work just fine. So if you're heading home and you want to sell at a mining station, you can do that. Or excuse me, at a space station, you can do that. But I usually do the mining station so that if anything happens, I've got my profits made and kept. Now, in most cases, you don't need to remove the rock from your vehicle. You can leave it right in your vehicle, just land on a pad, and you can sell. And you're going to head to the storage building, which is the one straight ahead of me. It's the one with the antenna. That is that amber color. Yeah, it's kind of like this antenna sign looking thing that's amber. Now, if you're worried about the rock breaking down on you, you can come back and repair it and then head right back out if that's something you're interested in doing too. But usually I'm ready to sell in an hour or so. So you can see I can select the Greycat, and we got 504 units of Hadnite at $275 a piece. That gives us 138,600 alpha UEC. So not too bad for, about an hour's worth of work. Maybe under. I think I didn't have a timer running on this one, but yeah. So if you rented and bought that suit, you've made your money back and more. So, it's worth doing, because if you rent it for a day, you can have made back that money and more. And then now you could go out and continue to mine and make even more. And highly recommend you check out, Aberdeen. Buy the suit and go full on, because the other locations are going to be good as long as you remember my scanning tips. You'll find Hadnite, but you won't find it in the abundancy that you find it here on Aberdeen. So, if you're adamantly against the suit, then head on over to Daymar, and check that out. And you'll do fine no matter what. But you may find less Hadonite in those other locations. And so if you're really all about profit, spend a little. You're gonna have to spend a little money to get that profit. So. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure mining here with you today and showing you a little bit about how to rock mine, and this is a live guide series that I'll continue to do, so that you can join in and have answers to your questions. And hopefully you'll join me on stream, and you're welcome to hit me up on my Discord server. I run a Discord server called the Know Nothings, and we're going to be giving away 3 prizes at the end of this month. The link for the Discord is in the description. Head on over there and I'll check out how you can enter to win 1 million Alpha UEC, which we'll be giving away. We'll also be giving away a Greycat STV. That's that sport terrain vehicle that just came out at CitizenCon a few weeks ago. And then we're also going to give away the Zeus suit, which comes in 3 colors. It comes in an orange, a gray, and a white. And it's a subscriber item that we will gift to you. And if you win the Zeus suit, you get to choose the color from the 3 available. And we'll be giving those 3 prizes away, 1 person per prize. And that'll happen at the end of the month. So just coming up on the end of the month now, it's a good time to head over to my Discord server, the Know Nothings, and see how you can win one of those 3 prizes. And thanks again for joining me. I really had a lot of fun doing this session, showing a little bit about rock mining. Of course, we only scratched the surface, and there's quite a bit more details to cover. But we'll be doing more of these and answering questions live as they come up, and do a little bit of quantanium mining as well, and maybe some few other things as well. So this is a series that's, as I said, sort of near and dear to my heart, because I enjoy showing people how to play the game, and I know a lot of people helped me when I first started playing, and I really appreciated it, and this is kind of my way of passing that down. So hope you have a great rest of your evening, and you have a great weekend. My name's Yentra, and we will see you in the next one.
Oh, we wildin', we drinking cherry wine, we dancing on an island, we going back the finest. Yeah, young Miss Tequila, and call me señorita. Ay, papi, got me dreaming, my legs up on the ceiling. Oh, yeah. I know when he come, he ain't never gonna leave, no. Hit it the night run, and that's the way I wanna be, so don't think I'm the one to won't ever be enough. Mix until I know, bitch, I ain't the one. He don't want love. He just wanna fuck. Ow, little vacation. Drink it till we naked. Talking with our tongues. We just having fun.